review global best practices, and chart implementation plan. Networking of niche is to mobilize, profile, and empower off-takers for affordable housing, especially those retirees, political appointees, professionals, entrepreneurs, private sector employees, artisans, and other in the informal sector. It is common knowledge that there is a huge housing deficit in Nigeria, especially in the low and that must be addressed deliberately, systemized by Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Is one of the basic and affordable housing bill. While the government should take the lead, housing have individual and collective role to play if we are to surmount these challenges and turning these challenges into opportunities. Housing finance, increasing the supply and reducing the cost of both construction and mortgage finance. We must identify domestic and foreign sources as well as alternative options of financing affordable housing, including equity finance. The other area that should attract our interest is how best to channel available finance for maximum impact from developers. I can tell you this from the experience I had in fish program. There's so many houses on offer, there was no mortgage to buy. This is why we have so many houses in locations nobody wants to live, and at prices nobody can afford. My experience as a former chairman, Fish Program shows that a serious gap exists in the housing finance system in Nigeria for off-takers. There are thousands of pre-qualified fish off-takers who are civil servants with verifiable sources of income and guaranteed repayment of deductions, and yet there is no easy access to mortgage finance. This calls for a paradigm shift from financing the supply side, which are the developers, to demand side of off-takers. The import of the proposed approach is to channel housing finance through pre-qualified off-takers after identifying their needs and affordability to developers. This approach ensures that developers provide housing tailored to the needs of the funded off-takers and guarantees exit strategy for the developers. This approach will also encourage developers to be competitive in delivering quality and affordable housing. Another important area of focus for this gathering is the interest rate. In order to achieve sustainable, affordable housing, mortgage finance should be at single-digit interest rate. We should focus our attention towards strategies for attracting housing finance at 6, 7, 8% interest rate, especially for first-time home buyers. It is noteworthy that the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board are lending at 6% and 3% interest rates, respectively. It is, however, clear that these institutions are not capitalized well enough to make any significant impact. It is my considered opinion that these traditional institutions should be better capitalized to increase their reach and redirect their focus to off-takers rather than developers. There may be the need for special housing intervention fund that will guarantee better access to housing finance at single-digit interest rate. This is the norm in countries that have achieved success in affordable housing. This was also a government policy in 2006 and 2007 during the sale of government properties when mortgage was pegged at 7%. Some of us that bought RFI houses will remember ASO Savings gave interest rates of 7 to 9%. The agriculture sector and other sectors in Nigeria are currently benefiting from similar intervention policy. This housing sector urgently requires similar intervention for maximum impact. For those in the informal sector and others who cannot qualify for mortgages, the rent-to-own option practiced in Lagos State should be explored further. Finance Africa, a continental network for financing development projects, organized this conference to afford us the opportunity to critically examine housing finance strategies, structures, and institutions currently in operation in Nigeria, review global best practices for possible inspiration, and provide sustainable solutions for financing affordable housing in Nigeria. I am confident that with the caliber of facilitators, moderators, and participants in this hall, lasting solution for affordable housing will be identified at the end of this conference. I must especially recognize our international facilitators from Kagamas, Malaysia, who will be discussing how mortgages are financed at 4% interest rate, from SACCO's cooperatives in Kenya, who will be discussing how cooperative strategies have achieved affordable housing in Kenya, and from Argentina's capital, Zurich and London, we will be discussing the prospects and challenges of equity financing and foreign capital for affordable housing in Nigeria. I greet all other facilitators, moderators, and participants for coming to share knowledge on housing finance options, sources, and strategies in this gathering. The second day of this conference will be dedicated to structured meetings, strategic planning, action templates, and timelines. At the end of the conference, comprehensive recommendations and implementation plan, including a draft affordable housing bill and other such blueprints, will be forwarded to appropriate authorities for consideration and actions. As part of the action plan of this conference, we'll be witnessing the launch of Nigeria Integrated Social Housing Cooperative Society, which is aimed at mobilizing and empowering off-takers in the informal sector, private sector, retired civil servants, and entrepreneurs to either rent or own their own affordable houses at moderate prices and single-digit interest rates, using SACCO's cooperative model perfected in Kenya and other cooperative principles obtainable around the world. The affordable housing project is a task that must be done and must be done well. Therefore, all hands must be on deck and all stakeholders must collaborate, must sacrifice, must contribute their quota. Once again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please accept my profound gratitude for attending the maiden Nigerian Housing Finance Conference, and I have my best wishes for fruitful deliberations and outcomes. God bless Nigeria.
Executive Secretary.
Secretary of Nigerian Resilient Cities Network. 500,000 here of the kind of divided economy we have. Somebody mentioned my name to him. He called me to his office. To the demand side. We've funded contractors and developers almost since independence in a series of housing programs and policies. And many times, these houses never quite get to where they're supposed to go to. We funded because a contractor, you give him a contract, he doesn't care, he builds and he's gone. He has no more interest. If we start funding the demand side, then Nigerians will set the standard. Then if you don't build a good house, I have been empowered. I have money to buy a house. If you build a bad house, I will not manage it. I will look for the person that will build me a good house. And this one idea of Mr. Adelako, for me, is going to completely change housing in Nigeria. And so it is with all pleasure, and it's an honor to be here with you today, sir, to watch this take off and to see where it will go. God bless you. Thank you.
Let me just use this window that I have to welcome and recognize Engineer Ima Oluwa Adamisi, who is a civil and citizen. You're most welcome, sir. Thank you. I'm the representative of the governor of Niger State to give his goodwill message. He is a professional himself, being the DG of Niger State Housing Corporation. It's my pleasure to call on Mr. Abdullah Ahmed. Please deliver your goodwill message. Thank you, sir.
The governor of Niger State, Elijah Abubakar Sani Bello, sent his apologies for his inability to be here for this program. Housing is one of his key programs in the state because he looked at housing as one of the sustainable ways of improving the revenue base of the state, considering our present situation of our main sources of income as the crude oil. Everybody is aware that the market is no longer friendly to the world. Therefore, housing being a permanent structure is really another opportunity that the governor of Niger State intends to give priority to ensure its availability so that the sources of revenue can be a continuous one. In this light, this conference is really apt by this period. Considering the point I mentioned earlier, the program is actually going to benefit not only the convener of the program, but the nation at large. Because funding has been a serious problem in Nigeria as a result of housing delivery. As you mentioned, the convener, the challenge of financing has been from the two ends, both the construction finance and the end user financing. Most of the challenges identified from the construction finance has been the period of repayment, the interest rates, and the nature of disbursement of the fund to the prospective developers. These are the major challenges identified from that end. The mortgage financing also has its own challenges, which has to do with the income of the beneficiaries, also the period of repayment, because the mortgage system in Nigeria, especially let's look at the NHF, provides for a repayment maximum period of 30 years, but unfortunately, most places, most of the PMIs grant only a period of 15 years. And the time of entrance of the professed mortgagors is also most at times very late, because after the time they will come into the mortgage system, most of them has maybe 15, 20, 10 years remaining in the service. You can see that the period available for them to go into the mortgage transaction in that aspect of the system is also short. Thirdly, the interest rates charged. The period also is another serious challenge for the mortgage system in this country. In this light, therefore, considering all the topics that are provided in the program, it is my hope that all these points will be properly trashed and solutions provided for housing sector in Nigeria to move at a pace that is required for this country. Thank you, and God bless you.
Dr. Folasade Yemesa, thank you for joining us. Next is to call on one of our foreign guest speakers to give his goodwill message. And I'm calling on, please, if I don't pronounce it correctly, please just pardon me. But I will struggle to try to get it right. And to call Mr. Shamu Katanatan, Senior Vice President, Kagama's Malaysia. Please, you're welcome, sir. Let's give him a round of applause as he comes to the podium.
Good morning, Your Excellencies, honorable dignitaries from the public and private sector, and Mr. Yemi Adilakun, the conference. Affordable housing is not only a burning issue in Africa, it's the same in Malaysia as well. Today, with the prices of houses escalating, and also accessible to financing, cheap source of financing, we are also having similar problems. So we are also trying to address issues about affordable housing. Now, this is not only pertinent to Malaysia, but if I look around the region, also Philippines, Thailand, and some of the other Asian countries. Chagamas, to introduce Chagamas, is a secondary mortgage institution promoting home ownership via its liquidity facility model. I'll talk more about it later. I believe GMRC, which has been set up in Nigeria, is playing a similar role like Chagamas. I also believe there is one institution in Tanzania. We have visitors from the African nations visiting Chagamas to learn more about the secondary model, that is the liquidity facility model. Chagamas in 2009 has been proclaimed as the liquidity facility model or secondary mortgage institution that is suitable for countries which are embarking on a secondary mortgage model. Based on my discussion with my fellow visitors and also Yemi, I think it has probably come to a very timely, or rather I would call it apt, for Yemi and his team to put together this conference to address affordable housing and also accessibility to financing. So with that, I hope there'll be, after this conference, there'll definitely be takeaways, and I hope that all the issues in relation, it cannot be solved within a day or 6 months, but at least if you have the goals set and you have the support of the policymakers, you have the support of the financial institutions, you have people like Yemi going on, right, driving this, making it and being the catalyst, all right, to drive the financing of affordable housing and making it a reality, I think you will succeed. So with that, let me congratulate Yemi. Yemi, congratulate the launching of Niche and wish Nigeria all the success in the affordable housing space. Thank you very much.
Private sector, all protocols observed. Good morning. Thank you to Mr. Yemi Adilakun for this wonderful opportunity. We indeed look forward to spending 2 days here with you as I bring my greetings from my fellow people and fellow countrymen from Kenya who are your younger or older brothers. I think it's younger brothers. Asanteni sana. I am David Degwa, a real estate consultant with 20 years experience in real estate in my country, Kenya. I stand here representing both Property Dynamics and ATPI, which stands for Africa Tenant Purchase Initiative. We are truly delighted this morning to attend this conference. We look forward to sharing our experiences as well as learning from you, learning your experiences, sharing our own experiences, discussing the next 2 days to find ways that we can make homes affordable. You know, we have to match up to the international community. We have to be like other countries in the world. We cannot keep talking about Africa having 90% of its citizens not having a home or a house that they can call a home. That has to change. And it has indeed to start with us. Charity begins at home. Housing, as you have heard, has major challenges. Like I've just mentioned, over 90% of our people across the entire continent, not only Nigeria, do not really have a home. You know, in the 21st century, we cannot be talking about 1 to 5% home ownership penetration. This has to increase. If not at least to 40%, it has to increase to 60% or 70%. There are many challenges, but then we always say challenges or obstacles are those very fearful things that you see when you get your eyes off your goals. So as long as you keep your eyes on the goal, then challenges stop being challenges. Frustrations stop becoming frustrations. And ultimately, step by step, we will be able to overcome these challenges and be able to give our people a home that they can call a house, that they can call a home. So indeed, like we said earlier, we look forward to sharing our experiences. We look forward to listening and sharing your experiences, as well as learning from you. Please enjoy the rest of the day and the rest of the conference. Thank you.
Indeed, a message of hope, charging all of us to turn our challenges into opportunities. It is my pleasure to call on the Permanent Secretary of Petroleum Resources, Dr. Yemesa, to give a good message. Madam, the podium over to you.
The support that he deserves. I didn't come prepared this morning. I know that the compare, Mr. Adelaku, has had this dream for some time, and this actually is an answer to prayers. And my wish for the conference and for his dreams of affordable housing in Nigeria is that God will crown all his efforts with success. And ladies and gentlemen, I can assure you that the speakers that are here today will actually give you the best. And I also pray that this will be the beginning of a brighter future for housing for Nigerians. This is a very, very big problem we've been tackling in Nigeria, and I hope that this will just be the key to open the doors to affordable housing in Nigeria. And I also want to congratulate Mr. Adelaku for the hard work and his team. God bless you all. Thank you.
Into the height of the Nigerian public service, you're always prepared. So thank you so much for those words. Let me use this opportunity to welcome Mr. Nelson Akerele, who is the representative of the MD of Royal Exchange PLC. Mr. Akerele, you're most welcome.
Minister of the FCT and the Executive Secretary of FCDA. My name, like you said, is Engineer E.A. Oluwadamisi. I'm the Director, Mass Housing and Public-Private Partnership. So I'll just go straight away to read the Honorable Minister's speech that maybe we'll be able to catch. He said, "It is with great pleasure and gratitude to God Almighty that I heartily welcome you all on behalf of the good people of Abuja and the Federal Capital Territory Administration to the Nigerian Housing Finance Conference 2017 with the theme Impact of Housing on National Economic Development, and a sub-theme Financing Affordable Housing at Single-Digit Interest Rate, Realities, Possibilities, and Necessities. It is also worthy of note that the goals of the conference are to evaluate and deepen understanding of existing structures and policies in Nigeria's housing finance, showcase global best practices and success stories, generate ideas, and recommend action plans for lasting solutions. Your intention to create financing, investment, and networking opportunity for housing stakeholders, including but not limited to investors, financiers, developers, manufacturers of building materials, infrastructure companies, real estate managers, risk underwriters, off-takers is quite commendable. A huge housing deficit in Nigeria is evidenced by the level of activities in real